Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Direct Line. My name is Jackie Saxtein. This week I have my special guest host, Nate Sansom, and we're joined by tonight's guest. We have Jason Trott from the Maryland GOP. Jason, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, Jackie?
I'm doing great. And Nate, how are you?
I'm doing well. Excited to be with both of you from the shore.
Yay. We're so excited to spread our wings outside of Montgomery County a little bit and bring people in from all across the state. So, Jason, for a lot of people who may or may not know who you are and what you do, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do for the state party?
Cool. So I'll start by saying I'm the MDGOP's deputy director. So I handle a lot of our day-to-day office business. If somebody calls the state party's phone number or sends an email to the info account or something along those lines, I answer all of our constituents across Maryland, and then from time to time I take on different special projects for the state party. Most recently, helping Corinne and all of them prepare for the RNC convention that starts next week.
Yes, and I know I asked you before the show. I know there's not a lot of things that you can tell us about what to expect for next week, but good things, right?
Lots of good things, lots of exciting stuff. I think our delegates and alternates and some of our central committee folks will have some fun stuff to do and some really exciting things that they'll be able to enjoy next week.
Well, we're definitely all going to be watching. And you were telling me also a little bit about some of the fundraising things that are going on that you guys are working on in the state party. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so we've done, and it was an idea of our executive director, Corinne Frank. She calls them our Red Sky emails, and we basically what we do is we take our email list, it's pretty big, um, which I helped grow during the last session, and we take our different candidates from. So far, we've done ones for candidates in Baltimore City, a few of our congressional candidates, and Nicole Ackley down in Wycomico County, who's really important race we need to win. And what we do is we have them write up a fundraising pitch to our email list, and we send it out to them. And we've raised our candidates a few $1,000s, and so far I think they keep all the money. It's just kind of a service we're providing to them and try to get them ready and in the best position to win their race in November.
That's great. So if we have any candidates watching who want to send you a pitch, what kinds of things are you looking for?
So we have an application actually that we send to them, and Corinne might have already sent it out to all of them. And if they haven't gotten it, they should just email her, Corinne at mdgop.org, and me, Jason at mdgop.org, and we'll be happy to send it to them.
Great. Nate, I'm throwing it to you and putting you on the spot. What do you have for me?
Sounds good. Well, thank you for mentioning Nicole, Jason. We're very honored to have her as the number one priority for the state party in this election. And it's very vital that we maintain that seat on our Wycomico County Council. We have our 4-3 majority, and so we are very grateful for the support of the state party in that, and we look forward to sailing to victory in November. And speaking about November a little bit, one question that I know I've gotten from a few people, and I know you've gotten it as well, is the need for election judges. So Jason, could you tell us a little bit about why it's so important that Republicans sign up to become election judges, and a little bit about how they can do that? I know you and I have both seen emails and Facebook comments about that, and so it's certainly important that we have as many Republicans as possible signing up for those vital roles.
Right. Election judges are really important, especially for this election, because typically election judges are older people, and a lot of them have concerns about coronavirus and serving in that role. So there's been a pretty big shortage, and we've seen across the state them take away some polling places and kind of shrink that down in each county. So it's really important we get election judges in there, and so we can have our election and be able to vote in person, and we don't have to shut down any more in-person polling places. I don't think anybody wants that. It's also important that we get Republican election judges, because typically they like to have it split, one Democrat judge and one Republican judge. to kind of keep it fair and balanced in the whole election process. So I think it's important that we get Republican judges to sign up, and it's not the State Board of Elections website, which is where I send people who write in asking about signing up to become an election judge, isn't the easiest to navigate. So maybe I'll create something on the MDGOP website for people who are interested in becoming an election judge. So it's kind of easier to get them where they need to be to sign up.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to turn a little bit to current events.
Sign up
Just something
and,
that obviously has been getting Maryland a lot of attention on the news this week has been Kim Klasik's video. So I'd love to hear what your thoughts on that are, if you're allowed to speak to that at all, and what that could do for the state of Maryland in this election cycle.
I think Kim had one of the best commercials that I've seen so far in this election cycle. I think it was really good and really well put together. And we've actually gotten, I checked the voicemail today, we've gotten 10, 20, 30 calls talking about how much they liked Kim's ad. So I think it puts a lot of attention on Baltimore City, a lot more attention that it usually doesn't get. And I think it's good that people are talking about elections in Baltimore City and Republicans running in Baltimore City.
Absolutely. I mean, she picked up an endorsement from the president, so that's always a very impressive thing to see, and it's definitely giving us a lot more name recognition, which is really exciting.
Absolutely. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a really good ad.
Yeah. Nate, what else?
Jackie, if I may on that one, I think with Kim Klasik's ad, one of the most beautiful parts about that ad is it shows candidates, it shows Republicans, interacting with our communities across the state. And I think that's what our party, that's what our candidates are so good at, interacting with our communities. We truly are a party of grassroots politics from the ground up. And I know the state party is a big part of that and help enabling us to really maximize that grassroots potential. And I think Kim is just a great example of a grassroots candidate who knows the fundamentals and has run campaigns in the past and has finally had that breakthrough moment. So it certainly is very exciting and encouraging to see where she'll go from here.
Absolutely. And that idea of grassroots, I mean, we've seen that so much with the people that we currently have, running our state GOP. Nicolai is so big on grassroots, and the efforts that we're putting forth with door knocking and phone banking, everything like that is, and I've been listening to the Democratic convention, and some of the commentary I've been hearing on the Fox News end is just that they're not doing any of that grassroots stuff for the Biden campaign. And you have, dedicated Republicans all across the state of Maryland out there knocking doors like every weekend, and finding new and creative ways to reach out to voters despite the coronavirus pandemic.
Absolutely. And you're right, Jackie. Our national committee woman, Nicolai Ambrose, has been really our star in Maryland for grassroots. And our chairman, Dirk Hare, has been a wonderful supporter of all of that as well, and especially of local candidates. I know Dirk has been really vital in helping us to retain our majority here in Wicomico County. And so, we do see those trickle-down effects, all across the state. And in the state party, under Corinne's leadership with Jason at her side, it's truly wonderful to have friends that will answer the phone and respond to emails. So I think we really are doing a great job on that constituent service and customer service, retail side of politics. And Jason, I don't know, do you have any thoughts on that? Really, the retail side of politics, which are so important, in an election year in particular, to respond to emails, Facebook messages, phone calls. Is there any advice you give to candidates on how to really get out there besides door knocking, especially in light of COVID? How are you encouraging candidates across the state to continue to interact with voters? Any tips with that?
I think hitting on the retail side of politics is really good. I mean, that's how those were the first two jobs that I had working in politics, was doing constituent service for different people, both on the federal and state level. And I think that's a really important thing for our candidates and elected officials to do, is to answer phone calls and answer emails, because you'll see the elected officials who are most responsive to their constituents, to even in a rough Republican year, are the ones who end up coming out on top. So I think that's really important if you're already an elected official to kind of to keep doing what you're supposed to do and answer constituents and just be active and involved in your community. For candidates running right now, it's hard because of COVID. I mean, I know some people in some places are starting to door knock, which I think in a campaign is the most important thing for a candidate to do, to get their name out there. But a lot of candidates have done different things. Like I know Chris Palumbi, who was on last week. He's been doing a lot of kind of like coffee meet and greets on Facebook. And actually, at the state party, what we're trying to work on to kind of get our candidates out there and people listening to their ideas is we are doing Facebook Live meet and greets with our congressional candidates. We're going to start them in September after things with the RNC convention kind of cool down. Um, and I think we're going to split them up into two, kind of have our first half of candidates one week and then our second half the next week. And then from there, I think we're planning on going to doing little Facebook meet and greets with our Baltimore City candidates. So I think it's just important for our candidates to stay active, do as much as they can in the community, and get their name out there.
So how can other people get involved with helping out these candidates and helping out the state party?
So if they reach out to info@mdgop.org, which we have a lot of folks who want to get involved with the Trump campaign in Maryland, that reach out to the state party. And what I do is try to, as I hook them up with the Trump victory chair in their county or the Central Committee chair, usually both, and try to get them involved and get them working and either door knocking or phone banking or whatever they can to keep them busy and keep them working.
So we were talking a little bit earlier about the fundraising efforts, and obviously for a lot of the counties, their biggest fundraiser of the year are their Lincoln Day dinners. And for most, I can't say all counties, Nate, but for most of the counties in the state, they're not able to hold their Lincoln Day dinners this year. So what is the state party's response to that, or what else they can do to help out the counties?
So I think fundraising right now is going to be tough for everybody. I know Garrett County is having their Lincoln dinner in September, and there's a county on the Lower Eastern Shore that's having their Lincoln dinner that actually has an awesome speaker by a pretty good chairman who's organizing it. I think it's going to be kind of touch and go for some counties because I know Anne Arundel. I'm on the Anne Arundel County Central Committee too. We had our Lincoln dinner planned, and we canceled and rescheduled 3 times. And eventually, we got to the point where we just had to scrap it and say, "Maybe come back next March, and we'll try again." So what we're kind of working on in Anne Arundel, and if it works for us, then I would recommend other counties to try it out. Is we're going to start doing direct mail pieces and see how well those work. For the past year, I think direct mail has actually done pretty well for the state party. So to see whether that works on a county level, we'll have to kind of try it out and see if it goes over well. See if we can raise some money.
Well, it's funny. My mom and dad signed up for the Trump birthday party bingo, and we're in New Jersey. And my mom's like, "Why am I getting mail from Dirk? Who is Dirk?" And I'm like, oh, "Guess you're one of us now."
Yep.
So,
Yeah, and you know, if Central Committees can think of kind of interesting and neat different ways that they can fundraise, kind of like we did with the birthday bash thing, I would encourage it. I think the birthday bash was a good way to raise some money for us, and it was fun. It was a fun thing for people to do. So if they can think of like different kind of ways to fundraise, I think that would be a great way for them to go.
absolutely.
And Jackie, I have to say thank you, and Jason, thank you for that intro to Lincoln Day dinners. I don't know if I'm a wonderful chairman, but I certainly do try to work hard here in Wicomico County, and we've got a great team. Our vice chair and secretary, we're all a great team. But we are very honored to have our Lincoln Day dinner on October 16th this year, and it's a Friday evening. We're going to have it at a local Republican-owned restaurant and catering business. And our guest speaker is going to be Sheriff Mike Lewis of Wicomico County, our very own, and he's also bringing in a very good friend of his, Sheriff Mark Lamb of Pinal County, Arizona. And Sheriff Lamb actually used to be the co-host of Live PD Wanted, one of the spinoffs of the popular A&E series Live PD. And so we're looking forward to really just hearing his stories from that. And in Arizona, his county is also very close to the border, and so he can also speak to the how their immigration issues that they're facing. They're actually seeing that firsthand. So he's a speaker that has a wide range of expertise and experience, from TV to law enforcement, and we're just really excited to have him to come join us in October, and very always excited to have our own sheriff there as well. And both of them frequent the news and have been to the White House for various meetings and roundtables, and so really just two wonderful individuals, public servants that we're looking forward to hearing from. And so that is October 16th. And if you want to find any more information about that, you can go to our website, wycomicogop.net, and wycomicogop.net, and we have information there. We're looking forward to a wonderful event. And so that's just, I know we're one of a few counties throughout the state who still has plans for a Lincoln Day dinner. So thank you for that, Jason and Jackie.
Yeah, I might have to come out of my little hidey hole in New Jersey for that, because that sounds like a good time. So Jason, I am curious, how did you get involved in the state party? How did you first get involved, and then how did you end up in the position you're in now?
So I think it was 2 years ago in 2018, I was appointed to the Anne Arundel County Central Committee. I can't remember if I was 19 or 20 at the time. There was a vacancy at the end of the last term, and it was after the primary election had happened, so I hadn't been elected to it for the next term. And I applied, and actually who interviewed me, who was my district mate at the time on the Anne Arundel County Central Committee, was our state comptroller, James Appel. So I was appointed then, and we knew kind of at the time that the people who won the election for Central Committee weren't going to they had no plans to actually be on the Central Committee. So they resigned, I think, within 2 weeks of the new term starting. I was reappointed. And there I met Corinne Frank, who was at the time our vice chairman of the Anne Arundel Central Committee. And I got to know her and, become friends with her and help her with her Board of Education campaign, going door knocking and all that. So when she got named executive director, I moved into vice chair of our Central Committee. And I'd always volunteered and helped and offered to do, whatever she needed from me. And one day I was here in the state party office, and I jokingly said, "Hey, you got any jobs you're giving out?" And a few weeks later, Corinne asked if I wanted a job working the state party. So I think I'm coming up on a year working here at the end of September or October.
It goes really fast. So one of the things I did also want to talk about is, under some unfortunate circumstances, there's a special election in Wycomico County for county executive. Is there anything that either Nate or Jason, you guys can talk to about that and what you guys are doing?
I will say it's actually not a special election, but it's an appointment by the county council. And so we do have a special election in Wycomico County, but our special election is for Nicole Ackley, our county council candidate. The appointment by the county council will be for our county executive. Our former executive Bob Culliver passed away of liver cancer after putting up a good fight for about 6 months, and but unfortunately he passed away just a few weeks ago, earlier this summer. And so it's been a time of really taking stock of where we're at, mourning the loss of a truly great leader and wonderful man, but then also pulling ourselves together and really just seeing who's out there to step into that leadership role. And the county council solicited applications. They received 4 applications. One of the applicants has since removed their name from the list, but we have the 3 applicants that are still in the running are a local doctor, Renee Desmares, who had also run for a House seat in 2014 but lost the primary, Michelle Ennis, who was a former finance director from the county, and then also our very own delegate Carl Anderton of District 38B, I believe it is. And Jason, correct me if I'm wrong on that. But and so I just am really looking forward to, from my perspective, and this is my personal view, I would love to see someone who has that leadership experience, who knows what it's like to work across the aisle and get things done, but also, stay true to, conservative values, and really knows how to put community service at the center of what they do. And so personally, I think Delegate Anderton is going to be a great fit, but I have full faith and confidence that the council will choose the right person for the job, and I'm looking forward. They actually have public interviews tomorrow night at our Civic Center here locally, and so the public can attend the interview, and I think it'll also be streamed, and then they'll have the vote by September 9th. And so just really looking forward to seeing who our next leader of our county is going to be, and to continue the legacy of Executive Culver, and to continue to just move us forward as a county. Being a shore county, we do have our issues are a little bit different at times, and certainly economic development is at the forefront of that. And I'm just looking forward to hearing the plans that the candidates have, and I'm optimistic for the future of Wicomico County. And Jason, I don't know if there's anything on your end that you'd like to say to any of that, but thank you for the question, Jackie.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you guys have a good pool of candidates, and I think any one of them will do a good job, I'm sure. It is kind of unfortunate when when an elected official passes away, that usually the Constitution, or in this case the county charter, kind of requires a quick turnaround on replacing them. So that's kind of unfortunate, but it's the way things go, and we kind of have to keep chugging along. I think the only other kind of sort of appointment thing that's going on in Maryland is out in Washington County. They have a vacancy in the state Senate where Andrew Serafini resigned. State Senator Andrew Serafini resigned, and so far what I've heard is that Washington County Central Committee is doing it the right way, doing a good job, and they should make an appointment here in the next few weeks, I believe.
So we want to move into our last few minutes here, talking a little bit about getting to know you. Some more fun questions, hopefully easier ones. We did have one question from the audience asking if you would ever consider running for office in the near future.
Well, maybe. I would say maybe.
All right. So I don't know about you guys. I've already said before, I'm from New Jersey. Did the two of you, were you born in Maryland? I'm asking both of you because Nate, I want to learn more about you too.
I was born in Wicomico County. I've lived here my whole life, and so born and raised here in Wicomico.
Jason, what about you? You transplant like me?
Nope, I was born right down the street from here at Anne Arundel Medical Center, and I've grown up in Anne Arundel County my whole life.
Well, that's perfect because it plays right into my game, because I found a list of things that say, you're from Maryland when. So I'm going to go down this list, and I want you guys to tell me how many of these apply to you or that you have done. So let's see. You know how to pronounce Towson, and tell me if I pronounce that wrong. Yes, no, I don't know. I found this list on Google. I cannot
Well, we don't know if you pronounced it right, so how
can
we tell
you
if
put
we
it
can
in the
pronounce
chat?
it right?
Towson. I think it's Towson, like the university.
Towson.
Yeah.
Towson. Yeah, Towson.
Towson. Yeah, sure. Oh, thank you, voice of God. Let's see. You remember I guess this is more of an age thing. You remember what the Inner Harbor looked like before it was the Inner Harbor? See, these look like really old people things. I'm going to skip through some of these. I know. Well, I'll say one of my first experiences I actually only had this year was how to eat crabs in Maryland and how to, break them apart. And that was an interesting time for me. So do you guys want to talk about what your first experience was like? Do you remember the first time you had crabs in Maryland? Or you were like toddlers?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I was probably a little tiny kid when I first had my first crab. But a lot of kids don't like crabs. They just like smashing them with the mallet, and then they don't eat any of it.
I mean,
So
that's my favorite part.
You're right. I think Jason, you're right. Smashing with the mallet's fun, and then and then getting the claws and ripping them apart is also part of the. It's more than just food. It's like an experience eating crabs. But Jackie, I can't help but mention this when you mention crabs. The Tall's annual crab and clam bake got canceled this year, and that was an event that we have our neighbors here in Wicomico in Somerset, and their Chamber of Commerce hosts that annual event where everybody who's anybody rather in Maryland politics is always at Tall's, and so unfortunately Tall's will have to wait until the summer of 2021 to make a return, but we're it's unfortunate that we're not going to get to have that experience this year.
Yeah, between that and the state fair, I know those were two really big blows, not just for the state party, but for, all of my friends in the state who are looking forward to getting out and doing those this summer.
yeah, those are definitely two of the funner events, I think, that people like going to.
Yeah. All right. So Dwight's telling me all these things in the chat. I need to ask you guys about something about the official state dessert for Maryland, Smith Island cake. I have no idea what that is. What is that?
Well, Smith Island is a wonderful island that you can get to. It's in Somerset County, and you can actually go to Somerset County, go to the Crisfield Marina, which is where Tall's, near where Tall's is usually held, and you can actually take a boat ride there from Crisfield to Smith Island. So next time you're down for Tall's, Jackie, you'll have to go visit Smith Island where you can get that official state dessert, the Smith Island cake. And I don't know, Jason, do you have any opinion on Smith Island cakes? Do you have a favorite kind?
I think so. I like Smith Island cake. It's good. I know a lot of people from Maryland have never heard of it though, or have never had it. And it's basically just like a big chocolatey layered cake, and it's pretty good.
What's not to like about that? and
9 layers.
Nate, you said the next time I go to Tall's. I think you mean the first time that I go to Tall's. I know I have so much to learn about being a Marylander. I moved here in January 2019, so.
Well, Jackie, anytime's a good time to come to the shore, so you don't even need to wait for Tall's.
I'm so excited to learn more about living in Maryland. I've definitely enjoyed it so far. I feel like after this, we need to make like a tourism video because that's what this has become. But as we wrap up, I definitely want to see, first of all, thank you guys for coming on the show. But do you guys have anything else that you want to say or mention or shout out? I know, Nate, you plugged, your Lincoln Day dinner. Yeah, anything else you guys want to plug? Now is your opportunity.
Yes, our website, wicomicogop.net. You can buy tickets there. You can also email us at wicomicogopcc@gmail.com. But really, our website, we've got the link to the anecdote right there. So wicomicogop.net, and it's WICOMICO. I can't even spell it right now, but Google Wicomico, make sure you don't spell it wrong, or Wicomico as but our website would be the best place to buy it. So thank you for that, Dwight.
Yep, and Jason, what about you? One last thing that you want to plug today?
I need to plug that my boss, Corinne Frank, is the best. She didn't tell me to say that at all.
Is that off your hand?
No, I got it on my Apple Watch right here, just so I could remind myself to say that. No, if anybody needs an absentee ballot, or wants to become an election judge, or once the information becomes available statewide where you can go vote on election day, visit mdgop.org and figure all that stuff out.
All right. Well, we're just coming up on 8 o'clock. Definitely, I love when we get to do YR age episodes. They're a little bit more lighthearted than some of our other ones. But, Nate, thank you for co-hosting with me tonight. And Jason, thank you for coming on tonight. It was really great getting to learn more about you guys and what you guys do, which is so many great things to the state party. But we're going to wrap up here. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we will see you next Wednesday.